Hello, so today's video is about visas and visiting Bali. So for most people who are Canadian or American, when you arrive in Bali, you can get a 30-day visa on arrival, which means that you don't have to arrange it beforehand. You don't have to do anything special. You just arrive in the airport and say you want a visa on arrival, and they give you 30 days. That 30-day visa can be extended for an additional 30 days once you're in Bali. That's probably going to be good for 90% of you. You don't need to do anything special, you just show up. If you are not from Canada or the US, I would recommend, or Australia, I would recommend checking out and making sure that your country is on the list of countries that gets the visa on arrival. I'm not quite up to date on what that is, but there's a link below where you can get that information. The next piece is if you want to stay longer. So if you're like, actually, this whole Bali thing, and I want to stay a little bit longer, like maybe 3 months or 4 months, or 5 months or 6 months, or like maybe I'll just move to Bali. I don't know, we'll see. This might be the catalyst for it. I would love to help nurture you through that process because I freaking love living internationally. It's amazing. And so if that is you, what you can do is you can apply for what's called a social visa, and you do this actually before you leave the country, whatever your home country is. So you there's a whole information package down below if you want to do this. There's a visa agent in Bali who's helping us and supporting us with this. They basically do this for a living. That's what they do. They help people come and stay for 6 months at a time. So they will give you the information, the request, you pay them some money, and then your passport gets sent to the nearest Indonesian embassy. You get a special visa, it comes back. You do all of this making sure you have enough time before you leave for Bali, obviously. And then you are able to stay for 60 days when you first arrive. And it's very important that if you are going to be doing business in Bali, you don't mention that during the process of, like, the visa office. You can tell that too when you're first applying for the visa. They know that lots of people do this, but the immigration officers, like, you are on holidays. You are here to learn about yoga, meditation, learn the Balinese language, culture, sightseeing, tourist, avoiding winter. All of those things are legitimate things, but you do not partake in business in Bali because it's actually a pretty, like, sensitive subject, and people get deported for, you know, getting caught hosting events, etc., in Bali, if they're not sensitive about it. So basically the gist on that is that as long as you are receiving money digitally or before you enter the country, so if you're hosting a retreat while you're here on top of attending the conference, those payments need to come to you digitally, and they need to come to you preferably before the conference. Now, I mean, I'm a bit of a rule breaker, and I know you probably are to different degrees, all of you, but basically, don't get caught. That's the simplest piece. If you're not advertising on billboards, if you're not openly advertising on Facebook, like posting on public groups within the Bali Facebook world, you should be fine. We are not responsible for anything that happens to anybody, and we are casting a beautiful, like, magical bubble of everybody's going to be beautiful and fine. And I just kind of want you to know the fine print about hosting events in Bali if you're on a social visa or a visitor's visa. It does not stop many of us from doing these things, and it's just kind of part of the process. What was the other piece? Visa on arrival, social visa. Social visa, it's important to know if you are traveling with children. So the visa on arrival is free. The social visa costs around, depends on what country you're from, but like $100 per person to set it up, and then it costs an additional $75 per month every month that you continue to be here. So that's just an expense that you need to take into account if you're going to be staying in Bali for longer. And there's lots of visa offices that will help you with that process. I think that's about it. If you have any more questions, let me know, and I'll shoot me an email, and I will get back to you as soon as I can with an answer. Have a beautiful day!